Happy lunch hour, gang. All right, so it's Friday, and you can imagine all the talk around everywhere is on his fraudulency speech last night and how divisive it was, everything. But I've already covered that, so you guys know where I stand, so we'll move on to other topics. I got smacked in the face this morning with a topic that never even crossed my mind, and probably has never crossed yours either. Now, we all talk about communication in an SHTF situation, right? No question. Do you have your radios? Do you have, ham radio or CB or walkie-talkies or two-ways or whatever it is? And I mean, ad nauseum, preppers talk about that. I mean, I've done my videos on it too. Okay. But what about basic communication? Can you do it? I'm going to give you a story here. So y'all know I'm building this garage and everything, and I've got guys putting the roof on the garage. And Mexican crew, or Hispanic crew, I'm assuming they're Mexican from what the company's told me. And no problem. They are out here, and, one guy's sitting out in front of the house waiting for the rest of the crew at 6:45 in the morning. So, I mean, they're ready to go to work. Y'all know this time of year, a lot of places, maybe not Arizona, okay, there's dew on the ground in the morning. At least there is here in Tennessee every day, okay. Well, I'm having a metal roof put on the garage. Guys get up on the garage. One of the guys slips and falls off. Yeah, that's what happened this morning, okay. Yes, he's okay, all right, but he fell off the roof, so, 10-foot drop down into the dirt and everything like that that's below the garage. He's sore, but here's the issue. The entire crew speaks Spanish. I don't. They don't speak English at all. Now, here's the next problem. Let's say this was worse. Where I am in Tennessee, I'm betting that the local 911 operator probably doesn't speak Spanish. So what would happen in a situation like this? Somebody's hurt. I mean, I called the owner of the company and he raced out here and everything like that and was telling me stories. He's actually in 25 years of business had a couple of people die on the job from falling off a roof. What happens if this crew is out here and they can't call help? Let's say this guy was severely injured. 911 doesn't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. How should this be handled? How do you prep for something like this? And I know somebody's going to say, oh, gee, you could use Google Translate and you could say something into your phone in English and it'll translate. Yes, that is a possibility. But I'm talking in an SHTF situation, chances are your phone's not going to work. Okay. So I looked something up and I wanted to see what the stats are on this. And this was kind of shocking to me. There are more than 60 million people in the United States who don't speak any English. Nearly 21% of the population of this country speaks no English. Now, I will say this, and I've said it many times before. The United States does not have an official language. But even then, it's pretty much well known that the language that is spoken in this country is English. Now, you think about it anywhere else. If you went to Italy, for example, do you speak Italian? Americans always get the bad rap, I guess, if you will, for, well, gee, if we speak louder, they'll understand us. No, it's not true. I mean, I've been to many different countries in the world, and no, I do not speak many different languages. I mean, even when I went to go see Mrs. P, I knew the very basics in Russian. Good morning, good evening, please, thank you, that sort of stuff. Where's the bathroom? Okay, I knew that sort of stuff. But how are you going to communicate in an SHTF situation? Something to think about. Now, I'm not saying go out and learn 6 different languages, okay? I don't think, I know I certainly don't have that capacity. But when you are talking to people about joining a mag or whatever it would be, think of the intelligence you can gather. How many videos, how many stories have you all seen where, I mean, there's one guy on YouTube who's, it's so fun to watch his videos because, here he is, he's this young, short, fat, white kid who walks around Chinatown in New York all the time. And he'll listen to what people say, I mean, one of the best ones he had, he actually went into a nail salon to get a manicure done. I know, don't go there. And the girls that were working at the nail salon were yapping about him in Chinese about him, okay? And after a couple of minutes, he just kind of responded to them in Chinese. And the woman's face just went white. Like, oh my God, they understood what's going on. Think about the intelligence that could benefit you or your mag, okay? Now, me, Mrs. P speaks Russian. Okay, if the Russians come in, we can pick up radio communications and she can translate them, all right? We'd know what's going on. But do you know anybody that speaks Chinese? I mean, any of the dialects? That might be a skill somebody, that would be very worthwhile having. Or somebody that speaks Spanish, because not only could it be the enemy that you're gathering information from because you understand their language, it could possibly save your life. Let's say you run into a group of preppers, another mag, that all speak Spanish. I mean, Florida, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California. Yeah, that's highly probable that you're going to do it. Can you communicate with them? If you can, maybe you have a good alliance to make both of you stronger. If none of them speak English and you've got somebody that speaks Spanish and you can align things together that way, could be very beneficial. And again, like I said, gathering intelligence from an enemy, another very good thing. I mean, y'all know what I did in the Army, okay? I was an interrogator and the Army taught me to speak Czech. Why? Well, again, this is going back to the Cold War era, but, so you still had Eastern Bloc nations, and, at the time it was still Czechoslovakia, the 2 languages, Czech and Slovak. But because the Czech Republic is on the, western border of Western Europe, or the eastern border of Western Europe, the western border of Eastern Europe, on the German border, the United States had figured that would be the majority of Eastern European soldiers that we would see if Germany was ever attacked. So hence, taught me to speak Czech. So if we captured somebody, I could talk to them in their language to gather intel, find out what's going on. Because the chances are of somebody at the time in Czechoslovakia potentially speaking English, not that great, and the potential that somebody is going to give you valuable information in their second language is certainly not that good. Nobody's going to volunteer what they speak. Again, going back to this guy in New York, he hides it. Nobody even guesses that he speaks Chinese. It's just something to think about that kind of hit me square in the face today with a potential disastrous situation that could have happened because of a language barrier. Granted, we live in the United States, and 79.2% of us speak English. The 20.8% that doesn't, it ain't all Spanish. Who knows where your intelligence or your allies come from? Just something to think about that never crossed my mind. You never know. Pinball out.